Hello, hello, hello. I'd like to welcome everyone to the 20th episode of Money Trees. I am your host, Khufu, and today, joined by the first friend I can say I've made through Twitter Spaces, a talented creator and artist in his own right. Let's welcome Mdara.
What's up?
Maybe.
What's poppin'?
Hey, what is up,
I'm
G?
chilling. I'm chilling. We had to start it in like proper data style. You gotta get rocked a few times first, man. But what's good?
Yo, man. That's so funny. You're right though. It's like it's crazy. I've been seeing people talk about like getting rugged and having issues with Twitter Spaces, and most of mine have gone pretty smoothly. I can't front. Like I don't think I've been rugged on stages myself. I've had a couple of people deal with it, but yeah, I guess you're in the Twitter Space game long enough. This is one of the byproducts. Man, how are you doing today?
Oh man, I'm good. I'm good. I think it's like a byproduct of being down here in the third world. They don't like us here, bro. Like they give us like the what do you call this? The stuff that doesn't work. They be like, all right, you'll be fine. At least you got it. But I'm alright. I'm alright. How's
Oh,
your
yeah, I'm
Wednesday
good.
going?
I'm good, man. It's very, very cold where I'm at. What part of the world? Where are you at exactly?
Johannesburg at the moment. I'm chilling in Johannesburg.
Oh man, shout out Joburg. What's the weather like over there right now?
Oh man, it was hot. It was hot. So it was like 30 degrees Celsius today. I don't know how much that is in like Fahrenheit, but it was pretty hot. It's one of those days where you wear like a sleeveless top or yeah, or shirtless or whatever. But it
Yeah,
was one of those days.
yeah, 30 for us is like the mid 80s. I've gotten very good at my Celsius Fahrenheit conversions dealing with a lot of our artists out of SA. But yo man, let me thank you for joining me today. You know, we had met in a late night small space convo, a small Twitter space convo, and you know, I could see your brilliance immediately. So I appreciate you taking the time to just come kick it today.
Shout out, shout out. I appreciate that so much, man. I saw the description of the space today, and I was like, "Oh man, this is probably some of the kindest words I've ever received in a while." But I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yo, man, it's well deserved. Like you dropped so many gems, and you're a very genuine person. In the short time that I've been, you know, keeping up with you, at least in the Twitter sphere, it's like constantly showing love to people, constantly supporting other artists, constantly educating people whenever there's questions, and just being like a really, really dope person. So, you know, I know my perspective of it, but can you tell the people a little bit about yourself?
Oh, for sure, for sure. I mean, that's probably like the most difficult, one of the most difficult questions to answer. So what I've just like resorted to saying is like, oh man, I'm a recording artist. I make music, but that's that's just how I just put it out so that I won't have to like give a whole life story about myself because I don't know what part like I'm supposed to tell. Like it's one of those like it's very difficult. Like it's like a multifaceted type of human being. So you're like, which part do I show today? I get it, but I don't know.
Oh man, so my idea behind Money Trees was inviting some of the really talented, smart, and creative people around me. Oh wait, oh they're saying that they can't. Oh, people can't hear you. Wait, what? I'm getting DM
Wait,
that.
oh for real?
Oh,
But can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah, but it says that your mic is muted. Um, that probably sounds nuts to everyone else. Like I'm here having a conversation with myself. If y'all can hear him, Dara, can I get some emojis in the? I have my other device. Hold on, let me see something. Wait, I'm Dara. Talk here. I'm on my other phone. Let me see if I can. No, you're coming through. You're coming
All right,
through on my
cool.
phone.
Yeah, hundreds up if you can name. I see the Alpha Man 6 can hear
Okay,
me.
okay,
T1
okay,
Shaw
yeah.
can hear me.
Okay, perfect,
KO
perfect. I
can
thought we
hear
were
me.
getting rugged again. I just got a DM saying, "Oh yeah, John Lefty said that he couldn't hear you. I'm gonna move him back to the stage, and then maybe he'll be able to hear you then." Okay, cool. Anyway, small technical difficulty. So my idea behind Money Trees was inviting these really talented, smart, creative people that I have, and giving them a platform to kind of figuratively plant trees. And so I think that this is the perfect space to deploy your multifaceted answer and use it as a reference point when people do want to know more about you. If you just want to leave it at recording artist, that's fine too. But I know I would personally love to hear about the multifaceted angle, man.
Oh, for sure, for sure. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah, man. I'm just a regular boy from Marondera, Zimbabwe. It's like a small town, small farming town out here. Um, I make music. I make music in my spare time. I love music a lot. So everything that I do is like, okay, cool. How do I like incorporate music into it? So um, that's how I move around. So I've been making music for a while now. I made my first song in 2011 with a mate of mine called Brilly, and then I've been on and off. I've been on and off there. Got myself into like uni, did a business degree, some finance and economics. Just try to learn how to understand money a little bit more. Did for a while, then moved back. Tried to get into like ocean economics, but finally dropped out of university after I picked up what do you call this? Picked up the Web3 space, and I couldn't. I obsessed over Web3, like I obsessed over like NFTs and Web3 so much. It was affecting my concentration in uni, and I was like, you know what? I probably will just pick this up later on, but let me figure this out and just apply myself onto this because it's like super early right now. So let me read as much as possible, educate myself as much as possible, and I did that. I also do like community management for Black NFT Art and Umba Daima. So yeah, I mean, like in a nutshell, that's what I'll probably like give you in terms of like a professional outlook of it all.
Yo, that's fire, man. I'll say this. I dropped out as well to pursue something that I felt like was just more fruitful for my time. And it's more exciting. I think that university and getting a proper education is definitely valuable for a lot of people, but in certain spaces it just doesn't really translate as well. Because it's like, what is, oh, let me not say that. Not that college can't teach you things that you apply in Web3, but this space has no curriculum. So if you're really trying to get into the space, you need to be learning as it's being built. You kind of have to get involved with it. You can't really learn from the outside. It's not that type of space. Do you remember what like exposed you to NFTs, or like what started, or can you talk about some of the projects that started taking your time away from your school focus?
Okay. So this is pretty much what happened, right? Like in 2020, when the pandemic started, I completely like took a gap from uni, right? And we got locked in the house, and no one was doing anything at that point in time, right? And yeah, so what happened is, Flip, one of my mates is called Nigel. He's a fashion designer and rapper from Malawi. He like makes street fashion. He's got a brand called Chola Changa, right? So he stopped dropping music, and I hit him up. I'm like, "Yo, bro, what's up, man? What's that? What's happening with the music? Where's it coming through?" So he's like, "Nah, I got writer's block." And at that moment, that was like peak pandemic. And I was like, yo, to be honest, you can't tell me you have writer's block because writing is so easy, right? Because at that point, I had unlocked a certain level. I was like, okay, fine. I understand this. This is like the easiest thing to do is just writing down your thoughts down on paper and reading them out. That's like, whoa, this is pretty crazy. And then just putting them in order so that they become cohesive. So I'm like, all right, cool. Let me just come and I'll show you a couple of tricks, just to get you used to the pen. Because the thing that you should supposed to be struggling with is condensing so much stuff. Because there's no way you can tell me that you can't be writing when you think and speak every day. So I jumped. I go to his house, right, and then we chop it up. We roll some blunts. We smoke up, and I'm just like giving him, just trying to show him the tricks that I used to write, and we wrote a couple of songs, and it was like fucking, I felt alive, bro. I was like, yo, why did I even stop doing this, so I'm like, all right, cool, bro. Let's do this in studio. He's like, all right, cool, let's go do it in studio. We go in studio. We make a couple of tunes. Um, and these were fire. So the guys that I was making tunes with, cats called South Bay Records, and we were just making tunes with them. And these are guys who were just pushing, and they're really good at making music. But I was like, yo, guys, what if we do it this way? So we made a bunch of music, and I was like, all right, cool. We need to find a way to put this music out. But you know how difficult it is to like penetrate the industry when you have no networks, you have no money, you have no clout whatsoever. So it was like, how do we put the music out? How do we let people hear the music? And because I love tech, I love tech. I'm subscribed to a lot of newsletters. I'm subscribed to a lot of like tech magazines, and yeah, so NFTs were popping on my radar a lot, and I was like, okay, cool. Everybody's saying this is like the next wave. I'll need to check on it. I'll need to check on it. I kept on bookmarking it until I was like, all right, let me dive into it, right? And then I read a little bit. I was like, okay, there's something here, but I was still mising it. I was just like looking at it with like a side eye, saying, you know what? If it's gonna work, it's gonna come to me at the right time. So fast forward, December came through. We didn't drop. You know, everything was like, ah, snap. We're not doing well. This is not gonna work. And then uh, around June, I don't know if you know a cat called Vintage Mozart. He jumps into the NFT space, right? And he's just takes a big leap of faith, and he's just doing everything on the tee. I was like, yo, I'm gonna do NFTs, I'm gonna mint, I'm gonna do all this stuff. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, this is the dude that I've been interacting with for like 6 years. And if he can do it, why am I not doing it? So that's when I just dive into it. I started like reading and like trying to figure out how do I put music out as, in Web3. So the thing is with the music, there isn't like really like a standard like compared to art. So it was like studying the game like to the core of it, like trying to understand each and little piece, like all the pieces that are there. And the other thing is like it would have been easy. Oh yeah, just mention OpenSea, mention Foundation. And then I looked at it and I was like, that's way out of my reach, and my pocket doesn't allow me to like spend all my groceries money on putting out music on something that I don't even know if the money's going up. So I tried to look for ways to like, can I make money in this space without putting in money, like how do I do it? Bumped into mint songs, and then we minted one song on there. I sold it for like $1, so we sold 2 copies there. And then that's when I figured out, oh snap, this is what's going on, this is how the blockchain works, because I had to do it first and then did that. And yeah, from then on, I would now just coming up with strategies and trying to figure out how we could do it. So that's like from the music aspect of it. That's how I managed to just jump into Web3. And I was talking in a space earlier on. It was all about community. So I mean, I was taking in a bucket load of information at that period in time, right? I was like, all right, cool. Um, I know this stuff. I know all these words. I'm trying to put on my people that I'm staying with, right? Because what we did at our house was like, ah man, it was pretty crazy. I had all my friends just come over and just chill with me at my house. We put the nice fast internet there, and we're like, yeah, let's just make this like a workspace slash incubator. Everyone who has like projects just come through. We chill. We do all this stuff. So I'm trying to tell everyone, they're like, come on, guys, let's divert. Let's go to Web3. Let's look into NFTs. No one was hearing me. So I was like, all right, cool. Let me just like, because when you're taking in so much information, you need to put it out somewhere. You also need to talk to people. You need to like chat to people and all that stuff. And I'm glad Tag is here. Ashley, he's actually in the audience there. He had been talking to me. He's like, yo, bro, we need to open a space where, we're talking about the right things and not, just the normal stuff people are talking about, dating and all that stuff. I was like, yeah, but I don't have anything to give people. And in that moment, I was like, all right, cool. I think we've got something. We could definitely open a space about Web3 and talk about it. And then we opened that space, and it's so super crazy. Most of the cats that are in this space, Michelle, amazing, Six, Tino and Brooke are some of the guys that we were talking to in the morning, and we started building community. And I didn't even know that we were building community. Keleto just jumps in, and I didn't even know that we were building community until I realized that, whoa, it's like a bunch of us who like actually talk to each other every day, and like actually like just check up on each other. How you guys doing? What's up? What's going on? Is your work working well and all that stuff? And yeah, that's pretty much like my journey into the Web3 space. so far, just being part of the music and community building.
Oh, gee, you touched on so many fire points there. Wow, I love your story. It's really cool to me that this was like born out of necessity. You know, you were like, yo, how the hell do I get this music out? And frustrated with the current standards of the industry, you went and found your own path. That's one of my favorite things that Web3 is fostering is this idea of like, yo, there are an unlimited amount of ways for you to go about marketing yourself, for you to start selling your content, and for you to get on. Like, I haven't even used the Mint songs, and I'm not super familiar with it, but I know that they provide a more affordable option with getting into Web3. One of the kind of unfortunate sides is the blockchain that everyone hears the most about is Ethereum, but it also has the highest like cost entry point, like paying for gas. Like to your point, if you're spending $100 on minting something, like that's grocery money, that's hangout money, that's money that a lot of people can't just throw away on the potential to get a sale. And then it's also like, okay, well, the people that want to support you, if you're spending $100 even on your transaction fee, you're going to have to bake that cost into the price. And so it becomes kind of expensive to move around. Have you explored putting out content on any of the other blockchains outside of Ethereum? Uh oh, are you getting rugged again? Oh no, you're back.
No, 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 no. Sorry, could you just repeat that?
No,
I
all
had
good.
to get something outside.
No, all good, all good. I was just checking. I was asking to see if you had explored putting out your content on, or does Mint use Ethereum, or is it a different blockchain?
Oh, so Mint uses Polygon. It's on Polygon. So I guess it is on
Okay,
Ethereum, but it's like on layer two. So
okay.
yeah, it's Rept Ethereum that goes on there.
So, have you explored like Tezos or Solana, or do you? Oh yeah, I guess to say like, what's been your experience with some of the more affordable blockchains?
Okay. So I explored everything. So a funny thing, right, with how I managed to get onto Mint songs. I was like, when you're in the space, like the first thing you do when you get into the space, people complain about gas, right? That's the first thing you hear. Like you jump in and everyone's like, oh, gas is so high, gas is so high. And in my head, I'm like, why? Like, is this like the biggest problem that we have? So I'm looking and I'm like, is there a way to do it without gas? I just literally wrote gas free songs type thing. And Mint songs, I think I'm probably the 90th person on Mint songs. Now they're over like 5,000 people on Mint songs. But I was like the 90th person to jump onto Mint songs. And we just jumped on there, try to see what, like, okay, how does it go? So minted it on Polygon, made it like really cheap so I could just see if I could make a sale. Made it try to make it accessible to everyone. And that worked. And I was like, all right, cool. So this is an avenue. I just put a note and I wrote down like, okay, cool, this is how to put out music on the blockchain if I need to put music on the blockchain and I don't have any money. That was like the first thing that I did. And then Tezos, that was my next leap. I was like, okay, cool. Tezos is another platform that doesn't really use a lot of like gas when you're minting. And what I did with Tezos is now every single Friday, I would drop a snippet of a song that I've made. I'll just spin it up in the business when I go get it. But I'll do that, and I did that for like 2 months, maybe just over 2 months. Every Friday, I was just dropping a snippet of a song and just selling it for between 1 and 5 tiers. I see Brooke is here. Brooke is one of the artists that I was collaborating with. Like, I'll just work with one of my friends and just be like, oh yeah, cool. Can just give me some visuals for it, and then I'll put the music on. And yeah, I would like to say I made a few sales on there. I made a couple of sales, way more than I would have made if I was putting my music on Spotify. Like I definitely got way more money from there. So I saw that Tezos actually works, and it's actually a blockchain that works. So boom, after I worked with Tezos, I moved on to OpenSea. So with OpenSea, what I did was we commissioned an artist. His name is Kieran Faree. He's a good dude that we work with in Port Elizabeth. We've got a couple of like projects coming together with, and so I was just trying to onboard them onto like Web3. So I'm like, yo, what's up, man? How's it going? There's this thing called NFTs, and it's like, yeah, no, my audience isn't really on NFTs and whatnot. I was like, all right, cool, let's do this, right? we'll take the risk. We will get you to, we'll collaborate on a piece of work, but because you're not so sure if it will work out, we'll pay for the fee, right? And we'll show you how it works. So we commission Kieran, we make the artwork, we play the music, we conceptualize everything, and we like, okay, this is what we're trying to put out, and then we make something that's really dope, that was really close to what we wanted, and we drop the artwork on OpenSea, and then boom, we sold a couple of copies. I was laughing in the morning today, and I was like, "Yo, I'm really selling EPs for $100. Nipsey Hussle would be super proud." Do you know what I mean? Like I've moved like 5 units already, and people would like, "Yo, what do you mean?" I'm like, "Yeah, bruh, I could actually sell an EP for $100, and that's literally what we did. But we put it up across every streaming platform that there is. I'm still looking for more streaming platforms because I was talking to people in Nigeria. They use something called Boomplay that I didn't even know, and I was like, "Oh, can I get my music on there?" Because I'm like, it's music; it has to be everywhere. So that's pretty much what I've done with the music so far, in terms of like just minting, besides everything else. But that's pretty much what I've done with it. So I've been on Polygon, Tezos, in Ethereum. I haven't explored Solana. Maybe I'll try to do Solana in the next few months after I make a few tunes that I will probably want to put out.
Man, I think it's really important that while we're doing Web3 music and using a lot of the benefits that NFTs provide for music, that we don't forego streaming services like the Boom Plays, like the Spotify's, like the Apple Music, because there's still a huge market there. The Web3 audience is not as large as it will be in the coming years. And as a musician, you still want your music being heard by as many people as possible. So, fire that you are advising people in that way where they can utilize kind of both avenues. I think there are reasons why you may only do like Web3 exclusives or not put songs on streamings because of your own beliefs. Me personally, I think that it doesn't make sense right now just because streaming itself works. The payments and all of that, that needs to be adjusted. But getting out to the masses, there is not a better way for more people to hear your music. At the end of the day, artists want to go on tour, they want to sell merch, they want to build up their career as an artist, and you still need these distribution platforms to do that. For now, I'll leave that caveat. Um, you talk about community, and that was one of the things that just drew me to your energy was the way that you lived that word. I think a lot of people throw that word around and don't actually do the groundwork that it takes to develop a community. Like looking at this stage, seeing all the people that you mentioned that you brought here to my space. Thank you for sharing your community with me. It is not, how do I want to say this? It's not an easy thing. And so, the reason I had those kind words for you at the start of it is just like, this is the groundwork that needs to be done for the continent to get the exposure to Web3 that it deserves. I deal with managing artists out of SA, and it's very frustrating to me seeing how some of the conversations I'm having with the Spotify's and DSPs and other tech brands are so far behind where it was in America. And so to me, a big question I have is like, what can I do? Who can I help? What can I support that will further Web3 efforts on the continent right now? So from your perspective, what let me think of this question correctly. Because it's kind of another one of the big questions, but what are the next steps? Like, how do we get more people on the continent to tap into Web3?
Oh man, like that exactly. That is a very important one, and it's a big question, right? And it's almost like that's the mission. How do we get this room to be 300 plus people just tuning in and listening and chopping it up and all that stuff, right? And man, it's a major culture shift, right? We need to bring the culture to them. I was talking to one of my mates, and he says like people like to be stuff. They don't want things. They want to like be stuff and feel things. So if we can, and I mean, this is pretty dope that like I'm looking at the room and I'm like, this is familiar faces all over. And I'm like, I dope. If this is how the energy that we move with all the time, right? And we're like, okay, cool. Um, when I see Kelechi, I dupper app. When I see the alpha man, I'm dumping him app. I'm giving him all the props that needs to happen. And people from the outside are looking and they're like, "What's going on?" And the only way you could understand is, if you reach out and be like, "Yo, what is all that stuff?" So I guess we need to rack in those W's, man. We need to rack in those W's and get people curious. Get people asking, "Yo, what is it that you're actually doing?" Because we see you celebrating every day. We see you having a good time. I wanna feel the same way that you're feeling. So it has to be like a huge culture shift, and just trying to make people see that the status quo isn't necessarily what is supposed to be abided by. Like most people see that, okay, what needs to be done is you do this, you make a couple of Instagram posts, you do this, you do that. And the way that I've been moving from like day one is like, what is everyone doing? I admit that's not what I'm going to do. So like it's literally just canceling out every single thing that works, figuring out the other stuff that doesn't work, and then merging the two and just figuring out that, oh, okay, cool, we've created a new system. So like the role that I've decided to play is that sacrificial lamp that does the stuff that no one wants to do, and see if it works. And then if it doesn't work, I take the L. But if it does work, we take the dub, and then I'll pass it on to someone else and be like, "Yo, bro, if you want to take a dub, this is how it works." So I mean, it's very difficult, but I think just being able to like connect with each other, just being with each other and being genuine and like sharing information, people gravitate towards to like positive things. And people start seeing W's, they'll be like, yeah, now I also want W's. Like if it's like in sports, right? If your team is winning, the fan base increases. So that's like pretty much the same concept that we could come up with. If you start to get those W's, people start to look and be like, yo, I don't want to be on the losing team.
Oh man, Mdara just gave us the blueprint right there, man. I fucking love that, G. I couldn't have said it better myself. That's gas. Let's figure out how we
Everybody gets
amplify
love.
the W's. Let's figure out how we amplify these W's. Let's figure out how we educate people and onboard people so that they can create W's for themselves. And part of that pioneering, part of that trailblazing is dealing with some of those early L's, figuring out some of those lessons. I don't even think of them as like losses, some of those lessons that we have to go through as kind of growing pains to get the space to where we want it to be. So imagine I'm an 18-year-old in Joburg and I wanted to get started. And I walk up to you and I'm like, Mdara, what do I do? What are your first steps?
Uh, yo, that's pretty crazy, right? Like that's the other thing that I've always wanted. Like my little brother is 18-year old, and he hit me up and he's like, "Yo, how do I get started?" I gave him a bunch of keywords. I was like, "Yo, bro, check this out. Just type in a couple of words into like, what do you want to do? You want to do NFTs? Type it in the Google. See it. The moment you get stuck, hit me up and say, yo, bro, what's this thing going on? Because I'm always like willing to help. Like I'm available as fuck. You know what I mean? Like I used to have spaces each and every morning where people could just come and just talk to me and be like, "Yo, what's up? What is this? What is that?" And like that's like the best way I could advise someone to jump into Web3 is like get in yourself, try to figure out where you fit in. And I mean, there's so many resources around here. Like I could dump a lot of things and be like, yo, do these NFTs and do all that stuff, but that's not maybe where your brain is at. So if you come in and you understand the technology, it's way easier to like integrate into community, and you could come and start to ask questions and be like, yo, bro, what's Tezos? And I'll be like, oh, okay, cool. Let me tell you what Tezos is. But if you come and you're like, yo, bro, um, how do I get started in NFTs? I'll be like, yo, what do you want to do? I'll be the one asking questions. So it's always like a case by case situation. But I would always just advise people to like, dive in, just type in the like Google, right? Like it sounds like some kind of like dismissive way to say things, but I'm like, nah, fam, just Google in like NFTs. After Google NFTs, read a few things. If something sparks your interest, just pull up and ask and be like, yo, bro, I saw this article. What is this thing? It's way easier for me to be like, oh, okay, this is what sparked your interest. Check it out from this perspective, you know. But again, if you're someone who actually knows what you're trying to do and you're like, yo, bro, I'm trying to sell a record, I'll also ask you again, like, how are you trying to sell that record? And you know, and that's how it goes. But that's how I feel about it. Like, it sounds a bit dismissive, you know, like, oh, do your own research, but that's not how. That's just a case of you, so that when you come, you can ask questions, you know, like it's way easier if you're asking questions. And it doesn't even need to be complex questions, you know, like, yo, what's a node? How do you know transfer these blocks from the next thing? Now, a simple question like, you know, why are NFTs so popular? It will be easier for like like someone who's been in a space to be like, oh, okay, let me start from there. Because that's like the hardest. You know how big this space is, man. You're like, shit. Where do you start? I don't know. So it's that's how I'll probably put it. You know, just type in the word that you want into Google, and then you know, come ask questions. Like, there's every people are so willing to teach someone. Like, you see how people come into Web3, we embrace them with like wide arms. So yeah, that's how I feel.
Yo, I wouldn't say that that's dismissive at all. I would say that it's accurate. Saying how do I get started in NFTs or how do I get started in Web3 is like, how do I internet? You know, it's such a broad and vast space that you need to figure out your why. Okay, did you get interested because you saw some crazy number, like a crazy sale that happened at a really high price? Did you get interested because you wanted provenance or an ownership over your content and you didn't want to have to deal with uploading to centralized entities, you know, whatever your reasoning is, because then that'll allow you to go and search, to do your own research piece of that. I think it becomes like a bit of a double edged sword because it's hard to find the right research sometimes. And so I'm working on a lot of resources that can help narrow down the what people have to filter through to get to the actual answers. But I do agree with you where it's like, yo, your starting point has to kind of be your why. And you have to say, okay, cool, let me go check out this Tezos thing. Maybe it is a node. Maybe you do need to figure out like what these simple or complex questions are. But that is how you start. You figure out why you want to get into it, and then you start researching. Gee, this has been a fire convo. You've dropped gems as I expected. I cannot wait to see more of what you were building. I need to go and listen to the records. I don't think that I've heard anything. I feel like you had
Uh,
mentioned the music piece a little bit when we had talked that night, but not too much. So I would love for you to drop a link. I actually think I saw you tweet about something right before this space. So I can go check that myself. You don't have to send it. And I'll add in a link to the music for people to check out after the fact. Before I let you go, I do have two questions for you. The first question is, what is your seed phrase? Here on Money Trees, I think that the term seed phrase in like the Web3 world, it's not scary enough for what it is. Because if you lose your seed phrase, you lose access to your NFTs and your cryptocurrency. And to me, it's just not a scary enough term. So I'm repurposing seed phrase to be the quote, saying, slogan that you live by that kind of embodies what your career in this Web3 space is. So, Mdara, what is your seed phrase?
bird, sleep, pillow, laptop, mouse. Nah, nah. I'm joking. I'm joking. That's not my seed face. I know that some people are writing it down, trying to get into my MetaMask. You'll probably get into someone else's MetaMask and not mine. But yo, man, like, it's a very like broad question, and I know I just wake up in the morning and you know I tell myself that I need to do shit. You know, wake up and if I feel like I need to do shit, I need to be able to do what I need to do. Be genuine, and you know, see other people as human beings. I feel from then on, it's so easy to be self-aware, and it's so easy to know what you really want and who you want to be. So it becomes just a case of free flowing and floating. So that's pretty much my seed phase. I wouldn't have it like a structure or something that I've written down on the wall and be like, yeah, this is the code that I live by. But just being able to uh, be okay with myself and figuring out, oh, okay, cool, this is what I need to do. And I pretty much coasted. Like, when you hit me up and you're like, yo, I want to put you on a note of money, I'm like, yo, bro, that's like stuff they do to dead presidents and the queen, and like, yo, what an honor type thing. But it's like, this stuff, and I'm just moving in the like doing stuff that I do every day, and people start to notice it. So that's what we usually, like me and Brooke just usually say, just wake up and see how it goes. So I think that's probably like my seed phrase at the moment. Uh, uh, just do it and see how it goes.
Do it and see how it goes. Yeah, man. I was crazy. It's crazy that you say that because on my end, I'm like, man, I'm so excited. Like when I hit you up, I'm like, all right, like let me make sure that I show him the note and like the art that I'm doing because it would be fire as hell to have him on the show. And everyone else that's come on the show prior, I based it off like my homies because I feel like I'm around tons of talented people. But again, we had that conversation and I'm like, fuck, like I need Abdara on this, man. Like he will have so much great information to share and relay to people. And I need to be a part of bolstering his message and bolstering the community that he's fostering and pointing people towards him that can utilize him as a resource because you will be an amazing asset to tons of new talent coming into the space because of the work that you're putting in, because of your thoughtful approach to it, because of the openness that you allow for yourself, even with, people getting to come and ask you questions and hosting spaces. So yeah, man, like I am so grateful that you joined. I want to be clear on the seed phrase. Is it do shit or wait, my fault. Can you say it one more time? I got because I was trying
Just
to track
just
it. I lost
just
it a little bit.
do it and see how it goes.
Just do it
Just
and see
do
how
it
it
and see
goes.
how
Okay.
it goes. Yeah.
Okay. Boom. Fire. Fire. I love that. So the last question I have before I let you jump, we're gonna take this 20, and I love the 20, man. The 20 is a very used bill here in the States. We're gonna take this Imdara number 20 Money Trees one of one NFT and place it up for purchase. What is the reserve price going to
Sheesh.
be? Sheesh.
Oh man. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. So I was in here yesterday, and I mean, you asked Rocky that question, and I was like, oh, is he gonna ask me the same thing tomorrow? I don't know. I mean, Rocky handled it pretty gracefully, and she was like, ah man, angel thingy is 2.2, right? And now I'm thinking, are we trying to sell this? What are we trying to do? Are we trying to get it off the shelf quickly? Are we just trying to put it out there and just show flex it out there and be like, let's see if someone picks it up, one of those things. Like I'm thinking that. So I'm gonna ask you, Kufu, what's the thing? What are we placing it on the blockchain, or are we trying to move this piece?
So for me, and the reason why I allow the guests to choose the price is this is like my thank you. This is my permanent stamp. I'm growing this rainforest and planting all these money trees with all of you amazing people. And this note commemorates it for me. I made my contract on Manifold. I have like my own little OCD taken care of where I'll get to look at all of the tokens that I've minted and it's really up to you. So I told Rocky yesterday, somebody did 2.2 million. And to me, as a competitor, that's exciting because I'm like, yo, I can't wait to build up enough of a name that that price doesn't even seem unfathomable. But on the flip side of it, it becomes cool with some of the lower priced ones because as your career grows and as people start wanting to be a part of the Mdara brand or the Money Trees brand, you can start seeing what that looks like on secondary and seeing how people trade it and seeing if there's if even if it is tradable, somebody might collect it just because you dropped the gem today that allowed them to go and sell an NFT. And they're like, nah, I need to commemorate this moment because I listened to this talk show and this provided me the information I needed to go make money. And this is a very specific example, but my answer is I don't know what it's there for. For me, the purpose has been served. I have this fire note that I can look at and see lovely faces of all the people that I'm talking with and planting trees.
Oh, word. So I'm gonna ask you, what's like the lowest reserve price there is there?
Um, the it's funny. I think OpenSea has the floor up. I can tell you in like 20 seconds. Let me look at my collection.
And
Right now, the floor price is zero point zero 0.05 ETH, which is what, like $150 or something?
oh, it's 0.05. Oh, okay.
Yeah, one
That's
130
pretty
right now.
crazy. All right, and it's like so are we auctioning it or it's like a
It's a
set
buy
price?
now. Yeah, it's a set price.
I so flip. Oh man, I thought it was gonna be like an auction. If it was an auction, I'll put like reserve price at 1 ETH so that we could start like a whole bidding war going on there. But since it's like a one of one and we're trying to sell it, whoo, that's pretty difficult. I'll just keep it at 1 ETH. Let's just put it at 1 ETH. Let's see how that goes and see if someone can snag it up.
There it is, G. Yeah, I want to thank you for joining me today. You really, really did drop some gems. I'm starting to do social shares, so we're going to end up clipping a lot of these. And then the full audio will be available on all like podcast platforms and YouTube for people to listen back to. But then I'm going to take some of the great advice and great, tips that you shared today, and then I'll send you those and I'll post them so more people can hear it and just get more of your message out there, man.
For sure, appreciate you so much, man. Like just before we go, um, Khufu's just been out here just throwing like kind words and saying nice things to me as if he's not like a superstar by himself. Like this guy's been doing really nice things, man. If you go in his bio and click the link on his bio and go to the site and just see the raw stuff like artist is managing, you would just be like, sheesh, how do you do this stuff? So I'm just trying to tell you like he's out here being humble and all that stuff and sounding excited but he's a super G. So I would advise you to follow Khufu. Money Trees is gonna be really sick. I've seen him being consistent ever since he started it. And I'm excited to see how this thing goes, man. Like if you put the same amount of work you put in everything that you put in, man, this is gonna be like sick. And I'm glad that it's like number 20. The $20 bill is like a proper bill. Like it's a round number and all that stuff. So I appreciate you for like putting me on like episode 20 to make it look nice.
Oh my G, that's love, man. And I will tell you this. I am putting my full energy and effort into making Money Trees. This is going to be an amazing, amazing, amazing show. And I can't wait to keep educating and onboarding people. Shout out to the talented musicians that I work with. Y'all help me seem cooler than I might be. And I am excited, man. I don't sound like I was fucking hyped to come and talk with you today because I just know for a fact that someone is going to hear something that you said today and they're going to build some dope shit from what you said. And us helping whoever that person is, whether we meet them or even know that we help them, doesn't matter. I love giving. I don't expect anything in return. And it allows me to move in the space so freely, so smoothly, where it's like, yo, talking to you is fucking exciting, G. Like it really, really is. You put me on the game today. I learned some things that I'll be able to relay. So yeah, I appreciate the kind words back. And we won't get into I don't know if you've ever seen why can't I remember the movie with Lakeith Stanfield? But it's like a
Sorry to bother you.
yeah, yeah. Sorry to bother you. Or he's like, nah, man, I'm trying to be like you. I'm trying to be like you. So we don't.
I know that. That's probably my favorite scene of that movie.
He's like, yeah, you have a good day. I'm like, I'm like, nah, I'm Dari. You're the shit, man. Nah, you doing
Was that Burberry?
it. My God, man. Yo, this has been great. There were some other pieces that we did not get to chop on, but I'm sure we will. Can you give a shout out to the communities that you managed one last time, and then I'm gonna end it.
All right, straight up, man. I do community management for Black NFT art and Umba Daima. Most of the stuff is in my bio right now, and pretty much like 80% of the people in this room are like the homies. So I'm super excited. Like I'm grinning all the time. I'm like, if it was on stage and we could see each other, I'll be just winking and head nodding and like doing little waves and stuff like that. So that's pretty much it. And just before you go, who did the artwork for the notes? Because I need to dap them up.
Oh, my guy Fernando, he does all my art. He's a Brazilian super ill artist.
Okay, I thought they were in space, but yeah, shout out, tell him that it's sick, man, and I really appreciate it.
Love, G. All right, y'all. This has been Money Trees number 20 with my guy Mdara. We out of here.